1 in 10 men in the U.S. have experienced physical violence, rape, and or stalking by a partner. I'm Asantua, and I will talk with you all today about male victims of domestic abuse. Now, I know what you're thinking. Men? But they be the main ones doing all the violence. Well, a lot of platforms are not geared towards or even recognize male victims as survivors. With From Mistreated Men, I want to establish a space welcome to anyone, but specifically for and from men who have been abused in domestic situations. In this space, they will share their experiences, motivate others who may not be ready to accept their own, and finally be free from the be a man stereotype that's been imposed upon them from an early age. The main resource that From Mistreated Men offers is a website. This website is a place where users can share their truth with others and also find resources that can help them. The homepage consists of clickable excerpts that a user may be drawn to. To see all stories, they can go to the Truth tab, the Awareness tab to receive information, and the Help Now tab for quick access to resources that do advocate for men online, over the phone, and in their area. In order to get users to this website, a poster was created. The poster mimics an ink blot or Rorschach test. This is paired with slightly abstracted imagery of what abuse can look like. The poster will be shown in public but intimate spaces like men's bathrooms and gym lockers, where the viewer can stop and see it and not just pass by. Another product that will lead users to the website is an animated video. This video also utilizes aspects of the Rorschach test and images of domestic abuse. It features the voices of men of different sexual orientations, telling parts of their own abuse stories. This allows the viewer to have a more interpersonal, emotional, and retrospective experience when watching the video.
Always just go back to normal.
We have some of the best times, though.
But he's going through things in life.
So much trauma.
To end this presentation, I would just like to say, all genders have the potential to be violent and manipulating, and we all could be a victim to that. Don't count people out. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, my name is Caroline Blinson, and I want to present to you about a large disparity that has greatly affected Black and white Americans within our region. This disparity and problem I'm discussing is known as the racial wealth gap. The problem that this gap brings up is that it has caused a great amount of unequal opportunity among different races and systems within society that includes not only wealth and income, but education, business, and home ownership. My goal within my campaign is to bring an overall awareness to this community. Bridge the Gap is the name I chose for my campaign, as I believe bringing awareness to this issue will in the end breed action and seeing this gap become smaller and smaller. Based off my research, I decided to choose a color palette with a softer tone that remained friendly and approachable. And part of my research was spent taking photos and finding areas within the region that were affected by this gap. The first part of my campaign, I decided an infographic that would be found on the floor of the light rail. And with this design being in the light rail, it brings awareness to many different wealth classes, as you have businessmen, students, and even just average families. And with the concept of being led through each statistic as an interactive element, it allows for a viewer to place themselves into the problem as they are taken through each stage of life, starting with education and ending with banking and savings. For my next product, I designed a social media campaign. Here, I decided to give foundational, easy information that would educate through defining terms, quotes, and stats to those who may have never heard of this gap. And from my research, I used the interviews from organizations and individuals who have had first-hand experience with this topic, giving this campaign more credibility. And for the last part, I designed a series of 3 billboards. This first billboard is addressing education. And as you will see, I decided for each of these to put an actual person, allowing for us to realize how this gap has affected real people. The second billboard is addressing business. And because this product is an out-of-home campaign, it's allowing for these billboards to be set in different areas and places within a region, expanding the audience impacted. And last in my series, I'm addressing the housing system. And the main goal through each of these was to give the opportunity to anyone passing by to stop and think about how maybe their fellow businessman, schoolmate, or even neighbor may be affected by this disparity and you may not even know it. I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you can walk away with a greater knowledge and awareness to learn more about the racial wealth gap in your area.
Hi, my name is Kaylee. My chosen topic for my thesis project is people experiencing houselessness. This issue is broad and complex, affecting too many of our neighbors. In Charlotte alone, there are an estimated 3,600 houseless folks. This experience is both traumatic and isolating. It is also surrounded by misconceptions. Houselessness is not a choice people make. Houseless folks very often have phones and livelihoods. Houseless people are resilient and face traumatizing challenges every day that are nearly impossible to overcome alone. I created Streetlight as a way to help houseless folks have more control and to help build a community where they are understood. For my logo, I began with a street lamp, using a yellow triangle. The orange is cut out from an upside-down heart to create a tent. I use a deep blue background with bright accents of color to represent how Streetlight is working to highlight the voices of houseless and to help them find their way during dark times. Expressing yourself is an important aspect to mental health and individuality. I created this sign to showcase the art and voices of Charlotte's houseless community. This design also provides them with a small income, as the profits made from each one sold will go to the creators. The design works along with my app, which contains a mental health section. People are able to upload art directly from the app or donate art created through Artworks 945. I made all of the colors within the design bright, as the purpose of the design is to highlight their voices in art. My app Streetlight is a secure channel to support houseless folks in their journey towards stable housing. It allows them to introduce themselves to their community, make requests for specific items, message with mutual aid groups or individuals, and form a deeper connection within the community. It allows them to navigate Charlotte safely with community alerts and recommendations on where to find services or resources. It also helps houseless folks to maintain their mental health with therapy, creative prompts, and meditation exercises. In case of emergency, there is an emergency call list with different services. Organizations and individuals looking to assist are also able to make an account. They can message with the houseless, offer up resources, fulfill resource requests, and connect with the mutual aid community. Financial insecurity is one of the most obvious issues that houseless face and is also the most difficult to overcome. To aid the houseless in this challenge, I created a brochure which explains how a houseless person is able to apply for the 2021 stimulus check. Within the brochure, there is also a call to action explaining the benefit of downloading the app. To design the brochure, I used a dark blue on the outside and a bright green to highlight the inside. To fix houselessness, we will need systemic change. But until this happens, mutual aid is necessary. I hope this presentation will inspire you to join a mutual aid in your community. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Concepcion Tao, and the community that I'll be talking about today is the immigrant Myanmar youth. The military coup that occurred earlier this year in Myanmar is a part of the fight and struggle to maintain a democratic government since the 1960s. The government's instability and religious persecutions have led many to leave. Over the past 2 decades, there have been large numbers of Myanmar immigrants and refugees coming to the United States. Here in the Charlotte and Greensboro cities of North Carolina, there are dominant communities of Burmese, Chin, and Karen. Being the granddaughter of refugees, I empathize with them and the challenges they face adapting and living in the U.S. So I decided to create Bloom, a social media app to connect the diaspora youth of Myanmar from the ages 15 to 25. By connecting the various ethnic groups, they can build a greater community to progress and support one another. The type for Bloom was custom-made to combine aspects of the Burmese and English alphabet to represent the youth's experience adapting to the dominant culture while maintaining their own. This vibrant color palette was inspired by the many unique cultures found in Myanmar. The colorful connecting pathways in the logo create the image of a flower in full bloom to symbolize the great potential they have when they are united. The main aspects of the Bloom app are the discussion groups and event pages. Through the combination of conversations and gatherings, this will help create a space that cultivates collaboration and community. To help encourage members outside of their comfort zone, a badge system was implemented. The badges are rewarded through diverse interactions and engagements that are then shown next to the profile picture. We want to encourage members to engage with their local communities as well. They can do so by looking up relevant nonprofits that will provide them resources and support. The Instagram account was created to reach a wider audience, and its content is a combination of call to action posts, member spotlights, and cultural representation. The member spotlights serve as testimonials to help other immigrant Myanmar youth feel more open to using the app. Each testimonial has designs that reflect that person's cultural background through textile designs seen in their traditional clothing. The images of familiar cultural elements such as holidays, foods, and traditional dress help them feel more connected and seen. The use of the bifold brochure is a direct way to inform the communities about Bloom. Some ethnic groups come together most often through religious organizations, and some of these establishments provide services and resources to help recent Myanmar immigrants. This makes these spaces an ideal place for the brochures to be sent to, as well as to relevant nonprofit organizations. The brochure assures the reader that the various Myanmar communities all share similar problems and that it is possible to overcome them together. Bloom was created to assure the immigrant Myanmar youth that they are not alone. I believe that they work together, they will have the power to make a difference for the futures of their communities. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Jamie Koo, and I want to invite you to take a step into the past. Do you remember when you were growing up and you wanted to be on stage? Or be in the course playing basketball? Maybe being an astronaut or businessman was your dream. How about for the people on this call with children of your own? Do you remember all the times your child shared with you their dreams? Unfortunately, many children growing up in the foster care system forgets what dreaming looks like. Being placed from home to home takes a huge toll on the children in the system. I found that this is a big factor in their mental health, in addition to the violence and abuse that many foster care children face. Can you believe that 80% of foster care children struggle with mental health issues compared to 18 to 22% of the general population? I honestly couldn't. This is why I created Heart House. Heart House is an organization that pushes to give foster care children access to art therapy. It's found that many foster care children fall behind academically, so using art therapy can relieve the pressure of feeling like you have to be smart, but rather give the freedom to create. The aim is to get children to process their emotions in a safe way first, in order to start hoping again. There are two main goals of the website, and they are to help visitors have a better understanding of the mission behind Heart House and to create a platform where the sense of connection can bring people to engage and take action. One of the features of the website that encourages user interaction is called Heart Hall, where artwork that kids submit are showcased. The organization is based around subscription boxes with art prompts updated monthly. Did you want to send a box? The boxes were designed using 3 of the main colors in the color palette. This was done in order to separate the different age groups the boxes are made for. Because the foster care system covers a large age range up to 21, it was necessary to split up the age groups and have the art supplies and prompts be catered to the different needs of children as they grow older. The differences of each box are listed on the website. On the side of the box, the foster care children are informed on how to get their work displayed on the Heart Hall using the hashtag HeartHouseHall. As an extra, I designed a sample art prompt that could be included in the box. These stickers are created so that children could be led into doing art with a couple ideas, but so that they will not be limited in how they want to approach it. In order to advertise the organization, I made a billboard. The billboard was designed to capture what Heart House's mission is in an engaging and visual way. The organic lines of the illustration creates a more gentle tone, along with the playful color palette used. As serious as the topic is, I wanted the organization to look approachable and less intimidating. As I was interviewing foster parents, many of them shared that people with an outside perspective view fostering as intimidating, but stepping into it, they realize how much of a gift it is. This form of advertisement leads you back to the Heart House website for more information. The need for individualized therapy for foster care children is needed, a form of therapy that allows foster children to not only create a safe space inside their hearts, but to think outside the box. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Katarina, and today I will be talking about the workers of Charlotte, the people who have continued to leave their house to make ends meet during this pandemic. Warehouse workers, mailmen, delivery drivers, fast food restaurant workers, and the like are all vital to our community and should be shown the support they deserve. Some of these frontline workers may be or feel underrepresented at their workplace. So with my thesis products, I'm sort of giving them the chance to speak out in a form different than, say, voting for or against a union. From this, Support Charlotte Workers was born. The name is very simple and direct, and that translates to each product as well. The typeface used for Charlotte is one I chose to express any distress or frustration towards unfair working conditions, wages, benefits, etc. For this whole campaign, I want the text to speak for itself, and the glove should allow people to recognize the type of worker this is for. First up, I created these shirts with sayings that were inspired by interviews I had with Amazon warehouse employees and the general president of the American Postal Workers Union here in Charlotte. If you can't express concerns through a vote or simply organizing, workers should at least be able to do it this way. People have always used this clothes to stick it to the man. It could also be done discreetly by wearing it under a vest or apron to avoid getting fired. Also, apparel like this can create a sense of solidarity between workers and supporters. I made the decision to create posters because it allows information to be processed pretty quickly by a viewer, as well as having the option to be available in pretty much any public space, with permission. Again, I want the words to be the focus, so having background imagery that isn't distracting is significant for these. I've directly included quotes from my interviews, in addition to any perspective provided by President Biden's Twitter, which is a supportive aspect of this campaign. Movements can begin with urgency created by outsiders, or those who don't deal with the issue personally. There will always be more strength in numbers of people who simply care. The QR code on the posters leads to this Facebook page, which, to me, best targets my audience, so it was necessary to research how pages for specific causes use it to spread awareness and bring people together. It's not simply creating and pushing content, but content that targets someone directly and enough for them to share that information with their friends, family, and co-workers. You want people to add their own commentary, whether it's positive or negative or in between. Having any sort of back and forth between users can help boost a page or campaign. Certain politicians and influencers know this very well. And for an issue such as this, it's crucial to post updates on current events to keep the conversation going so that the people with power can push for certain legislation. If certain frontline workers can't get the support they need by their employer or through a union, they should at least get it from their community. If you're not one of those workers, just remember who has been providing you your daily services while you've been safe at home. Thank you.
My name is Maya M., and for my senior thesis, I focused on the racial diversity gap within graphic design workspaces. I chose this topic because as someone who is Southeast Asian, representation has always been a big deal. For many people, including myself, not seeing their own people or people that look like them within the industry can be discouraging. As visual communicators, our job is to be the bridge between a message and the public. But what good is there in being a graphic designer if you aren't embracing and acknowledging the various perspectives, cultures, ethnicities, and ways of life around you? When looking at the 2019 graphic design census conducted by the American Institute of Graphic Arts, the numbers don't reflect the diversity in Charlotte's professional graphic design industry. In order to bring light into the issue, I've created Diverse by Design. Diverse by Design is made to encourage and inform businesses, agencies, and companies on the benefits and how to improve their own racial diversity. The Instagram page provides viewers with small doses of information. The Instagram posts dig into the statistics, financial issues, and benefits, as well as diversity and inclusion words to know. The color palette used throughout the brand is made to represent various skin tones. The roughness of the shapes represents the tough conversations and the constant push for equity. In the bio of the Instagram page, you will find a link to the website. On the website, we feature a graphic designer each month. We delve deeper into the financial barriers by breaking down how expensive it can be to earn a BFA in graphic design. We also present statistics showing the amount of students that earned a graphic design degree in 2017 compared to the amount of designers of color within the industry as of 2019. As you scroll through, you will find reasons why a company should improve their racial diversity, as well as the different steps they can take towards progress. Towards the end, you will find a forum where you can join the conversation and freely express your thoughts on the matter. You will also find a section dedicated to training materials. The diversity training materials are composed of 3 posters and a card game. Each poster features a quote from organizations and graphic designers such as Robert L. Peters, Sylvia Harris, and the American Institute of Graphic Arts. These posters present their views on racial diversity within the industry and come with the intention of them being placed in businesses, agencies, and companies as a way to encourage them to improve their racial diversity. Cards for Diversity is a card game centered around various microaggressions and racial situations that can cause divides in a workplace. I found that most people aren't aware of how certain phrases or actions can be problematic, so creating something that would put people in the hot seat and have them actively discuss these situations and interact with others was key. The card game comes with the intent of it being used in diversity, equity, and inclusion workshops. To wrap this up, I leave you with a quote from African American graphic designer and design strategist Sylvia Harris. "It is my hope that American designers and scholars will contribute to this body of knowledge and support a generation of designers hungry to see their people and experience reflected in the mirror of our profession." Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matt Tessiner, and the community that I have chosen to do my thesis project on is young African American adults who suffer from mental health issues. Through my research, it has been shown that my community has been less likely to get help. About 1 out of 3 young African American adults receive the necessary mental health care that they require. During the pandemic and all of the social injustices going on throughout the world, African Americans have been hit harder, and I want to bring awareness to the situation and bring about ways these young adults can go about receiving the help that they desire while being in a safe environment. Most of my community doesn't know where to begin for receiving help because it is seen as taboo or a sign of weakness within their race, which is why I've created an organization that is called Mental Health Resource for African Americans in Charlotte. The color palette chosen for my project is blue and gray to represent a calm, welcoming tone. There are 4 different shades of brown that represent different skin tones of African Americans, and white for small design elements such as strokes, type, and icons. The logo I have designed for my organization is a brain being held by hands to symbolize the protection of mental health. The 2 typefaces used within my project are Brendan Grotesque, which is used for body text and subheadings, and Hobo, which is used for headers and social media typography. I designed 2 similar posters with different images that are within a honeycomb design that is meant to symbolize feeling trapped within your mental health. Within the posters, I used a call to action to get the reader engaged, learn some quick knowledge, and where they can start receiving help. These posters are meant to be found on college campuses, bus stops, hospitals, and doctor's offices. Next is my trifold brochure, where I introduced more information about the organization and the overall goal of ensuring a safe environment for receiving help. Within the brochure, you will find resources located in Charlotte, the services that are provided from these services, and different methods of how to receive help. This brochure is meant for those who are interested in more information on getting mental health, where there will also be proof of someone else who was in the same situation and received help. These brochures will be found on college campuses, doctor's offices, and hospitals. Lastly, I have designed a social media campaign where you can find motivational quotes, awareness, and more resources. In the bio of the profile, you'll find a link tree to local resources in Charlotte that offer mental health help. The goal of this campaign is to help individuals feel welcomed and to get a sense of what the whole organization is about. The soft, round sans serif font was used for this campaign to feel friendly and approachable. I hope that throughout my products, I am able to bring awareness and encourage those that fall under my community to take the first step in getting better. Thank you for your time.
As graphic designers, we have the capability to provide useful and impactful information to many different types of communities. We can use our design knowledge to convey a variety of media that is appealing to all groups of people. I'm Michael Bass, and I chose Senior Independent Living Communities for my thesis project. I chose this community because I didn't know my grandparents well, yet one of my grandmothers lived in a senior community. I got to wondering what life would be like there. With COVID, I had a feeling there would be many challenges. After speaking with some directors at various communities, it was clear to me that COVID was really impacting them in a negative way, being so isolated from their families. I determined that providing information on how they could stay busy and connected would be extremely useful to them. Some of the design elements I decided to incorporate throughout all 3 products includes a background with a yellow gradient because darker text and illustrations would contrast well. I also used violet as a complementary color to the yellow background and incorporated royal blue to keep the color theme similar throughout all of the products. In senior communities before COVID, residents could go to group exercise sessions. Now that everyone had to be socially distanced, I provided easy to follow instructions and illustrations in a brochure which seniors could follow to do their own workouts in their apartments or cottage homes within the community. To make sure they all have access to this information, it would be placed in each resident's mailbox. I designed an infographic poster to give insight as to what Zoom is and the necessary steps to connect with family and friends on their computers. Since seniors have been quarantined, Zoom helps them to see their loved ones. I decided to explain what Zoom is for those seniors who are not familiar with it. I designed simple step-by-step instructions on how to get started. These instructions include how to download the Zoom application, how to join video and audio, and how to schedule a meeting. The infographic poster would be placed throughout the buildings in areas such as the lobby and the hallways. To introduce another product that would be beneficial for seniors, I designed an application called Find Yours. I chose 4 different topics that would allow them to keep busy. Travel videos let them enjoy the experience of other countries. Using the food delivery tab, they can either order meals or groceries so they don't have to cook or be exposed to COVID in a crowded restaurant or grocery store. Clicking on activities provides applications that include card games, brain activities, and educational experiences. And clicking on books suggests a popular list of reading material they can purchase and read to their grandchildren via Zoom. I hope these products will be informative and provide many helpful options for seniors to navigate through these unusual times of the pandemic. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Denise Beckett, and today I want you to think about every time you've planned to leave your home to run errands and how often you've had to wonder about whether or not wherever you go will be accessible to you. 1 in 4 individuals in the United States are disabled, totaling approximately 64 million Americans, with over 3 million being wheelchair users. The reality for many in this community is that simply going out in public can be a hardship. Introducing Accessible Standards, a series of products I've designed in order to spread awareness and push for better enforcement of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, or ADA standards, which was created to tackle discrimination based on a person's disabilities and push for the right to have the needed accommodations in order to navigate the same spaces as able-bodied persons. The first step involves a series of posters that targets everyday people as they interact within these public spaces, calling attention to how accessibility for the general public does not mean that it's a shared experience. These posters depict real people in real-life situations and the stress of trying to overcome inaccessible spaces. It also encourages viewers to learn more by directing them to an Instagram page and a website. Social media allows for users to interact with content in a quick and convenient way, making it perfect for drawing in more attention to this topic in a way that's to the point and easy to access. The page gives a small taste of what Accessible Standards hopes to achieve, while providing statistics to highlight how many suffer due to inaccessibility, and gives more context to common inaccessibility mistakes through scenarios I've illustrated. Lastly, the social media aims to generate enough interest to persuade viewers to visit the website. Here, the website gives a more in-depth investigation into the issues of accessibility and what business owners can do to become more inclusive, as private businesses are especially notorious for these oversights. It also informs the general public of what they can do to push for a more accessible world for everyone, including how to hold non-compliant establishments accountable if they refuse to make the changes to grant disabled individuals their right to accessibility. Accessibility is a right that should be enjoyed by everyone. Consider their voices and commit to accessibility. Thank you.
My name is Timothy Schaefer, and this is the Resourcivity Network. From the start, I wanted to promote creativity and learning for middle and high school students, especially now during a time of pandemic and isolation. Through conversations with teachers, they've revealed the hardships students face to remain connected and creative. Further, I wanted to provide resources and information for these teachers to help them provide creative activities for the students. The Resourcivity Network seeks to provide these aid and act as a hub of information, resources, and advice through a digital and online platform. This leads into the network's website. The Resourcivity Network's website is meant to act as a hub of information and content easily accessed by the user. For teachers, it is a source of information, tutorials, and resources to help them better help their students. For students, it's a place to find fun and creative activities, interact with peers through various groups and clubs, all of which are set up by teachers and educators. In addition, It acts as a means to broaden the social circles during a time of isolation and have fun while doing it. As an attaché to the website is the Resourcivity Network app. The Resourcivity Network's app is a digital platform where all the content of the website can be accessed in one place. The app will allow students to browse various interactive content and be part of a growing community of their peers. Teachers will be able to use the app to set up events, clubs, and other creative activities for their students. The goal of the app is to be an interesting and vibrant experience to encourage students to interact and be creative. A small part of this is the ability to change the app's color, a simple way to get students interacting with the application. To promote the Resourcivity Network and its platforms, an Instagram campaign was created. The campaign consists of 9 consecutive posts, split into 3 parts. Each part is tied together by a vibrant color scheme to catch the eye and interest of the viewer. The 2 illustrations are artistic expressions meant to engage students to participate in creative activities. The purpose of these sequences is to promote the Resourcivity Network and its goal of itself promoting creativity and learning. The Resourcivity Network is a platform for the promotion and encouragement of creativity for students and resources and information for teachers. Its goal is to help educators and their young educatees to be creative, social, and learning. All done through various digital and online platforms. I am glad to have presented you today the Resourcivity Network. This has been Timothy Schaefer, and thank you for your time.
Hi there, my name is Yasmin Solares, and today I will be talking about the community of deaf and hard of hearing children. This community faces the everyday challenges of communication with those who are not hard of hearing. These children struggle because they are going through their early learning stages of life while becoming accustomed to their disability. Bringing awareness to this community is essential because it isn't normalized enough. This is why it's even more important not only to learn to use basic sign language, but learn how to interact with them as well. For this community, I created Helping Hand. Helping Hand is an organization that uses its products to help viewers learn ASL or American Sign Language, as well as how to communicate with hard of hearing children properly. The logo consists of a simple rounded design among the icon and the type. The icon on the left is of an ASL sign, which means love or I love you, with a heart in between its fingers. This brings compassion to the audience, as well as showing the care provided among the community in need. The color palette shown includes the calming colors and shades of blue and green, as well as a bright, contrasting red. For this series of infographic posters, one will be used to inform the viewer on the basics of interacting with hard of hearing children, while the other will do the same, but is specifically used for safety and emergencies only. The blue poster provides facts and information about communicating correctly, as well as learning a bit of ASL. The red poster, brightly colored for emergency use, provides steps to aid a child in need, as well as learning important ASL. These posters would be placed in areas where these children may be, such as schools, playgrounds, clinics, and more. This series of social media posts within Instagram helps to bring awareness of the community simply by scrolling through the feed. The feed consists of designed imagery of children interacting, along with uplifting phrases, animated videos to learn ASL, as well as facts or steps to use in order to communicate with them properly. This website here is used as a hub for viewers to learn more about the community as well as help them. We start off at the home page with an introduction and mission statement. The next tab we click on is What's New, showing the latest news and how to communicate while following the CDC guidelines during the pandemic. The next page is Get Involved, a call to action among the viewer, stating the importance of aiding the community and how you can become a helping hand through donating. And finally, we have a simple Contact Us page. The overall design of this website contains similar fluid and organic design elements that were also used in the previous products to create a consistent design. Children shouldn't have to struggle with communication and interaction while they're growing and learning. You can easily help by learning simple ASL, understanding how to interact with them properly, and bring awareness to the community itself. Through these actions, you can become a helping hand. Thank you.